Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. I just want to do a video looking at the weather out towards the second week of June, because I think we are seeing signals now for the return of the westerlies, the return of Atlantic driven weather, and this is something that happens very common, very often in June. We do very often see the return of the westerly winds, and I think we are seeing signals for that to happen, I'll say, into the second week of June. Now, before we get on with the video, just talk about the advertisement. It'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos here at gavsweathervids.com. Please play those video ads, I know you do, and please carry on playing them, and you'll be supporting gavsweathervids.com by doing that. And of course, the advertiser wants you to see their video ad as well, so you'll be supporting the advertiser if you do that also. So what we're going to start with today is the 500 millibar height anomaly charts. As you know, I use these a lot for my videos, and we've got the below average heights here, as indicated by these blue colours. We've got the red colours here indicating the above average heights. And 500 millibars at 18,000 feet is important because that's the area in the atmosphere where we get high pressure and low pressure developing, and it's really those areas of high pressure and low pressure that give us our weather as they're moved around by the jet stream running above. And the high pressure, as I say, is indicated by the red colours. Red colours are actually indicating above average temperatures, and then we use those temperatures to see where we can extrapolate to where the high pressure is likely to be. So where this deepest of the red is, that's where the core of the high pressure is likely to be, because that's where we've got the core of the above average temperatures, and it's the same for these blue colours as well. So this is the ECMWF model for 500 millibars in 8 to 10 days time, and this is taking us up to the 8th of June. So we're going up towards the second week of June, and we can see that the model is bringing us this area of low pressure. We are going to be seeing low pressure around British Isles below average heights, and we've got the green line here indicating the jet stream. That's running more or less right across the country. So the jet stream is returning. We've got low pressure returning with it. As I say, we'll be bringing the weather in off the Atlantic if this is right, and that's the return of the westerly winds. And if we have a look at the GFS, it's a very similar situation actually. The core of the high pressure here is probably a little bit more to the core of the low pressure, I should say, is probably a little bit more towards Scandinavia, if anything, but really it's a very similar pattern. We've got the below average heights really around the northwest of Europe. We're bringing the jet stream down across the British Isles as well. So again, we are probably looking at quite an unsettled pattern with this weather coming in off the Atlantic. We've got these below average heights waiting in the Atlantic as well. That's probably more areas of low pressure getting ready to come in off the Atlantic. As I say, the return of the westerlies is a common pattern as we go into June. April and May often see lots of northerly and easterly winds, and that often tends to reverse then once we get through to June. June can actually have a monsoon season for the British Isles for the northwest of Europe. If the westerlies get strong enough, we can see the June monsoon giving us some very wet weather indeed. That doesn't happen too often, but anyway, the return of the westerlies is something that is quite common through the course of June. And if we have a look at the ECMWF model from West Central, and we see how those high anomaly charts work out in terms of the actual weather maps, we can see that for Tuesday, the 5th of June, we're already starting to bring low pressure in off the Atlantic. So this is holiday Tuesday. If this is right, we're bringing low pressure in, and it'll probably be spoiling things, particularly in the north and west, with rain coming in off the Atlantic actually. So that's bringing the Atlantic back very quickly. If this is right, we'll have to keep an eye on that, I think. And as we get through to Friday the 8th of June, this is 10 days time, of course, well, that low pressure is very much dominating to the north of Scotland. We've got westerly winds here across the country. So this is a very cool and showery signal. This next area of low pressure around Newfoundland is waiting in the winds to come across the Atlantic, probably keeping that very unsettled weather going. Having a look at the Canadian model, the GEM model, we can see about again, low pressure is very much centred over the country for Friday the 8th of June, 10 days time. Next area of low pressure is around Newfoundland. We've also got a lot of blocking up over Greenland with this, so this is a very cool and unsettled picture if this is right. A lot of showers around, and as I say, temperatures on the cool side. The GFS, well, we're looking at a northerly wind there, a very cold northerly wind on Tuesday the 5th of June, holiday Tuesday. Could bring a few showers down with that, but otherwise it would be mainly dry, but temperatures very much on the cool side. But once we get through to Friday the 8th of June, well, there's the low pressure beginning to re-establish off the Atlantic. This brings the Atlantic in later than the ECMWF. The ECMWF is very progressive in trying to bring the Atlantic in by Tuesday. I'm not sure that's quite right, but certainly as we go through next week, I think the chances of the Atlantic beginning to come back, low pressure off the Atlantic, will be increasing all the time. These are the ensembles from the GFS model. What we want to look at with this, more particularly, is these spikes down here across these bottom part of the chart. That is indicating precipitation, and if that's right, we're bringing in quite a lot of precipitation from the 7th of June. Notice that around the holiday period, the 1st to the 5th of June, we don't have a lot of precipitation. Some mini spikes there, perhaps indicating some showers at times, but quite a dry weekend probably coming up over the holiday weekend. But notice how cool the temperatures are. These are the temperature lines up here, well below average, so it will be a cool weekend, but with a fair amount of dry weather. But once we get through to the 7th of June, we do get these precipitation spikes really starting to spike up, and that is indicating, I think, that the Atlantic is coming back. Low pressure is starting to bring wet weather off the Atlantic Ocean. And finally, having a look at the precipitation over the week from the GFS model. Well, we can see that for this week, this Tuesday to next Tuesday, we've actually got a fair amount of dry weather in these western parts of the country. Rainfall, some rainfall there across these central east areas. I think that's more particularly actually from thunderstorms that may develop today, and especially tomorrow across eastern areas. I think we'll get some quite heavy thunderstorms across parts of East Anglia, South East England, maybe the Midlands tomorrow afternoon, and I think that is in very much impacting this chart. Otherwise it wouldn't be as showing as much precipitation as that. But once we get through to the second week, so this is taking us from the 6th to the 14th of June, so this is into the second week of June, we can see that the precipitation really starts to get going there across the country. We're nearly all in these blue colours. The yellows, that's where the drier weather is restricted right down to the far south of the country. We're all in the green and blues, indicating perhaps precipitation up to 30 to 50 millimetres through the second week of June, so that would be quite wet. So, as I say, what I think we're looking at is a mainly dry weekend. There will be some showers around over the weekend, but it should be, I think, mainly dry, but temperatures will be very much on the cool side. It will be a cool holiday weekend, unfortunately. But then once we get through to next week, an increasing chance, I think, of low pressure starting to come in off the Atlantic. That low pressure will start to bring wet weather in across the country, and westerly winds as well. But westerlies coming back for the second week of June, when it could be really quite unsettled. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video.